पाकिस्तान के अवाम फलस्तीन, लबनान, शाम और अब यमन के बाद ईरान पर होने वाली अमरीकी और इसराइली जारियत की मजम्मत कर रहे हैं। हम ये यकीन दिलाते हैं ईरान को कि पाकिस्तान के अवाम ईरान के साथ हैं।
They want peace, but they in there killing people, right? All right, cool.
और गुज़िश्ता रात जो दुनिया की आलमी दहशतगर्द हुकूमत अमेरिका ने ईरान के ऊपर जारियत की है, ये तमाम बैनुल अक़वामी क़वानीन, यूनाइटेड नेशन चार्टर की खुल्लम खुल्ला खिलाफ वर्जी है, बदमाशी है। लिहाजा हम इसकी सख्त मजम्मत करते हैं और ईरान के दिफाई हक की हिमायत करते हैं जो गासिब इसराइल के खिलाफ इस्तेमाल हो रहा है, और हमें उम्मीद है कि ईरान अमरीकियों को भी सबक सिखाने के लिए अपना दिफा का हक इस्तेमाल करेगा।
This is what we are up against. ISIS, the terrorist group that's run like a well-oiled business.
The way ISIS documents its operations shows that it is a different kind of terrorist organization.
They're not just savvy, they're sophisticated and they learn.
Watching this latest ISIS propaganda video is akin to taking in a Hollywood action movie. But the action here is all too real, and the ISIS PR machine is constantly making sure the world is aware. The imagery of brutal attacks and beheadings serving as beacons.
It certainly raises the profile of the organization, and as a result brings more money to the organization, brings more members to the organization, and brings more prestige to the organization.
Making the goal of all the publicity clear, ISIS wants to show its dominance and recruit.
ISIS is competing with other jihadist organizations, and by documenting its actions, it wants to show the superiority that it has on the battlefield.
ISIS wants to give the impression that it's winning.
Besides videos, ISIS also produces massive company reports. This one is 410 pages, all in Arabic, and all in an effort to bolster its power.
The amount of information that they put out on the number of battles that they've won and the territory they control, and sort of their strategic vision of the caliphate. That's new and pretty clever.
Other slick graphic digital magazines are in English. Posted on social media sites, the publications are designed to lull disenchanted young Westerners to become jihadists. ISIS has been known to use these foreign fighters as suicide bombers.
Those youths, when they go to Syria and Iraq, they hone their fighting skills, and they will very likely bring those fighting skills back to their home countries after they're finished fighting. ISIS wants to market itself as the cool organization that is waging jihad at the moment, and it is using English and social media to propagate its message very effectively.
While a dollar amount is unclear, ISIS has money, some of which comes from the oil fields it controls and from private donors.
ISIS is a rich organization, and it gets its
The
money
Obama
from,
administration funded these
extortion.
motherfuckers, yo.
Also, it gets its money by kidnapping and receiving ransom.
While ISIS has a cabinet that runs the organization, with Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi acting as CEO and president, it also acts like a government, declaring itself a state.
It has not only the responsibility to hold the territory that it's gained, and it's gained a ton of territory, and it's fighting on 4 different fronts right now at least, and that takes a lot of energy, a lot of resources, a lot of manpower, and a lot of money.
Power, money, and PR. Stephanie Elam, CNN, Los Angeles.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You could just read the Taliban is classified, and if you don't know, the Taliban's in charge of Afghanistan. They're classified as a specially designated global terrorist organization by OFAC. So post-2021, so this is last year, 2024, we spent $697 million of the taxpayers' dollars in Afghanistan, including $534,719,000 in change from USAID in Afghanistan. Afghanistan is ruled by folks named Sarajuddin Haqqani. The Haqqani network mean anything to anybody in the room? How about Abdullah bin Laden? Who gets some of that money? Does that name ring a bell to anybody in the room? your money, $697 million annually, plus the shipments of cash funds madrasas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS Khorasan, terrorist training camps. That's what it's funding.
Wow. 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 U.S. aid was funding Al-Qaeda and the Taliban and ISIS. Wow. Wow.
Nigeria. Let's hear a cry for help from a Christian in Nigeria.
Please step for us. We are dying. Yesterday, one of my colleagues, Reverend, was slaughtered with his wife and his children.
Josh, some of the vision we've seen is among the most horrific savagery you can imagine. Mothers holding their terrified children, begging for mercy, and all of them killed, people buried alive, hacked to death, beheaded, hanged from trees, just
Wow.
savagery that is subhuman. Why isn't every world leader speaking out about this? The UN, the
Right.
Pope, with this Christian slaughter. Why
Right,
isn't this
right.
top of mind for the international
Ain't
community?
nobody talking about it. It's a distraction.
It probably should be, right? But there are two things that come to mind. One is that thinking about foreign policy doctrines more generally, and thinking from an American perspective, Rita, the whole MAGA, America First, nationalist foreign policy doctrine is one that is not based in humanitarian concerns. It is not the foreign policy of Barack Obama when he intervened in Libya to topple Muammar Gaddafi to save the native population. It's not the foreign policy, of course, of George W. Bush and the neoconservatives either. It is a very realist national interest, pinpick strike, go in, bomb the crap out of them and get the heck out kind of foreign policy. So humanitarian concerns, while they genuinely tear at the heartstrings, it is not front and center, I think, of how the median Trump voter, how the median MAGA Republican necessarily thinks of foreign policy. But the other reason that comes to mind, Rhea, especially when we're talking here about humanitarian concerns, when we're talking about slaughters, accusations, whether real or perceived, of genocide there, is that, as the popular saying on social media goes, no Jews, no news. I mean, I think a lot of the folks that really should be outraged, that they should be outraged over the horrific slaughter of Christians by Boko Haram, I think are simultaneously too busy. They've been too busy just accusing Israel of committing genocide for the past 2 years there. So there's definitely some truth to that as well. But, putting on my proverbial MAGA hat, thinking as a Donald Trump voter myself, I think that a lot of folks here just don't think about foreign policy in ultra humanitarian terms, but I mean, these videos just genuinely just break your heart, and something surely has to be done in some capacity, in some way.
Well, let's hear from a man who survived the Islamists. He survived Boko Haram, and he had this to say about life as a Christian in Nigeria.
I want to thank and applaud the United States of American President Donald Trump for designating Nigeria as a CPC, because this is one of the things that we have always wanted. Nigeria is the worst place to be as a Christian, like the worst place in the whole of the world to be as a Christian, because you wake up every day with news of killings, every day with news of massacring of Christians. It's totally a genocide that is happening here in Nigeria.
Josh, as you just explained, Americans don't want to be involved in forever foreign wars or wars without clear objectives. And MAGA is about America first, but we are talking here about Christians being slaughtered for being Christian. No. Do you think there would be support for some sort of military action by the US in this particular case?
I think that Donald Trump could probably sell it if he were to build the political capital and kind of sell it as some sort of limited operation. I guess the obvious question is, what kind of limited operation would that be? I mean, let's think back to the Iran strikes back in June. That was literally a 37-hour affair from when the B-2 bombers left Missouri, flew half around the world to Iran, flew back. The whole thing took, literally less than 2 days. So I'm not sure exactly what that would look like here. I'm a little skeptical that anything along those lines could be done. Here's what I will say. I mentioned earlier, you have the possibility of sanctions, the international diplomacy, tariff policy, all the tools of diplomatic and economic statecraft thing can be applied to the Nigerian government to get their freaking act together and to send Boko Haram packing to the pits of hell, frankly, there. Another thing that I think can probably should be done, and this might be controversial actually within kind of the MAGA base, is, a lot of Republicans are very skeptical when it comes to refugee and asylum policy, and rightfully so, to be clear, because it has been systemically incredibly abused for decades and decades here in the U.S. All sorts of fraudulent kind of economic asylum seekers and so forth there. But there are cases of legitimate asylum. There absolutely are cases of legitimate refugees. The Trump administration has gone above and beyond to try to make sure that the white Afrikaners down in South Africa, who are literally being oppressed by the anti-white racist government in South Africa, they've made sure that those folks know that they potentially have a home if they want to come to the U.S. there. So too, I think, should Christians literally getting slaughtered by Boko Haram in Nigeria. In my opinion, they should be absolutely eligible if they are on the cusp of being slaughtered. In my mind, Reed, I'm putting on my immigration law hat. That means any definition of asylum refugee status under U.S. immigration law.
The fact that you have 30 people beheaded, it is so satanic and ungodly and evil, and yet am I praying enough for those in duress around the world?
Well, ISMP proudly released photos of their demonic savagery, and the incredible organization Memory captured some of those photos. I don't know if we can show them. I'll have to talk to one of our editors, and if we can, we'll put them on the screen. If not, just know that it's barbaric. But what's really disturbing is that these people are proud of it. Billy, what's really struck me is, can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine if the headline wrote, "The IDF beheads 30 Palestinians"? We would be talking about the biggest news story, since 9/11. I can't even imagine. And yet, if you Google search Mozambique, there's I think Christianity Today and maybe another Christian organization. Nothing from CNN, nothing from any mainstream. I'm not just talking about CNN. I'm talking about, when I say CNN, I mean general New York Times, Washington Post, Fox News. Anybody. I have not seen anybody pick this up. And this isn't uncommon. We did a story.
Once again, like I said, niggas, black, part of ISIS, killing brothers. Their own peoples, man. I told y'all. Got the facts right here. Brothers killing brothers behind ISIS. Sad, man. This shit crazy, man. But this is a prime example of what I told y'all. This shit date back to slavery, y'all. Know what I mean? Them same niggas was in Africa doing the same shit to our peoples, man. They chased Kunta Kinte down, raped Kizzy, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing changed, y'all. Look. They use them niggas. They niggas. That's taking the Muslim side over their own peoples, their own brother. Sad, man. You don't see near one Arab in one of them uniforms. They niggas, man. Wanna be niggas. Under them hoods, man. Under them shiesties. Niggas killing niggas. Sad, man. Like I said, Trump did more for blacks than blacks did for blacks. Look what blacks are doing for blacks. Slaughtering them. So yes, Trump did more for blacks than blacks did for blacks. God damn it.
It's barbaric. But what's really disturbing is that these people are proud of it.